It's great to be here today. London is one of my all-time favorite cities in the entire world, and this venue is spectacular. I'm looking at the back of a beautiful old pipe organ. As folks said, my name's Jonathan Alferness, and I lead up our shopping products. I've been doing that at Google for the better part of about a year now. But if I go back in time, 5 years ago or so, this is not at all the role I expected to be in, nor the conference that I expected to talk at. Back then, I was a rather cocky 35-year-old sitting on top of a desktop search business that was worth tens of billions of dollars to Google. It was the day and era of desktop, and my God, it ruled. And I was leading the product management teams figuring out how to drive that business. But then one of my good friends and mentors at the time tapped me on the shoulder and asked me to lead up one of our mobile teams, one of our mobile ads teams. And honestly, I really wasn't sure how I felt about that. I had grown to really like the discipline that I was in and the balance of the extraordinary revenue with driving products. I mean, mobile was exciting. It was new and it was growing incredibly quickly. But it was a business at the time that was more than 2 orders of magnitude smaller than the business that I was managing. So at first I resisted. I wanted to stay doing what I was doing, but after the 6th or 7th time that I was asked to lead this mobile ads team, I realized it was less of an ask and more of a mandate. So we all know what happened, though, right? Mobile has become, and we heard it all morning, mobile has become a bigger revolution than any the tech industry has ever seen since at least the advent of the personal computers in the 1980s. The world, frankly, the world has been so clear that mobile is not only what users want, but it's what they need in their daily lives to succeed. And for me, oh man, the ride was amazing. It was inventive, it was instructive, it was humbling. And most of all, it was an awful lot of fun. Now, when I was leading up the mobile ads teams at Google, I got a big opportunity to spend more and more time with retailers as mobile started to mature. So I'm excited, in fact, I am thrilled to be leading our shopping teams, our retail and commerce teams today, because we're all here together in this beautiful church witnessing how mobile is transforming the retail and commerce industries at perhaps a faster clip than any other industry in the entire world. Mobile, frankly, mobile has changed the way all of us shop and the way we live. Let's roll the video. So you get it, right? We no longer go online. In fact, we are fundamentally living our lives online. But there is a crucial message for marketers and businesses around the world as we all rush to be there to meet our consumers anywhere they are on mobile. And that message is that not all moments are created equal. You know it yourself. You pull out your mobile device, perhaps to check your friends' vacation photos or to text your wife. What does it feel like when a brand or a business intersects that personal moment and tries to sell you something? Brands that interrupt us, well, they get in the way, and frankly, they piss us off. But instead, retail's biggest opportunities lie in the very small, intent-rich mobile moments. Whether they're the I need some ideas moments, the which one's best moments, the I want to buy it moments. When a shopper takes that intent in their head and puts it into the mobile device in their hand, whether they're on the bus, in the store aisle, or yeah, like all of us, even in the bathroom. You know, as you saw in the video, these are the moments that matter. So let's take a quick look at the numbers. First, and we've talked about this a lot, but let's think about it just another second. We are going online more. We're spending more time on our mobile devices, 7% more time in 2015 in the UK alone. And yet, thanks to the speed of our devices and thanks to how fast we're able to interact, we are moving more quickly on our mobile devices. In fact, we've seen the average length of a retail mobile session decline by 7% in the last year. Stunningly, and this is the thing to me that is so exciting and encouraging, more actual transactions are happening on mobile in these thin slices of time. In fact, a full 26% of online retail purchases are in the UK, France, and Germany are now happening on mobile. The fact is that people are turning to mobile more and more frequently for thinner and thinner slices of time to act, to get ideas, to research, and yes, even to buy. And you know, this trend is only accelerating. Look, we've seen an explosion of these moments across Google. You know, we see trillions of searches online on Google every year. And these moments are occurring across all of our properties. But importantly, they're happening on shopping too. Last year alone, we connected mobile shoppers across 23 countries to retailers 150% more often than in the year before. And avid shoppers turn to Google as a place to shop as well. In fact, in the US, 70% of Amazon Prime shoppers come to Google to shop. My team's goal, we work incredibly hard at this. We want to help all of you be there and be useful when you have just seconds to make an impact in these moments. So first, we're going to share a little bit of what we've been working on to help you be there and be useful on mobile. Then, I want to talk about how we're helping you connect with your consumers in the physical world as they're walking around right when they're ready to make a decision. And last, a topic that I know is on everybody's mind, we'll spend some time talking about measurement and how we're providing tools to help you connect the online and the offline world. So let's start with mobile. Specifically, what we've been building to make it easier for you to connect with your consumers on mobile. You know, mobile enables consumers to move very, very seamlessly across a lot of surfaces. One of my new favorite habits, and it's a little creepy, I sit and I watch what people do on their mobile devices. And I admit I've been doing a little bit of it here, and you see people seamlessly weave their way through a myriad of different apps and experiences. And if you think all of you do it well, just check out what the 13-year-olds are doing on their mobile devices. So it's been imperative that we move shopping away from just Google.com and search to these other properties where we're seeing billions of users as well, like YouTube. Now, YouTube is the place where the world comes to watch video. With over 1 billion users, YouTube sees 9 times more video viewing than Facebook. And we know that people, especially millennials, turn to YouTube to explore products. In fact, AOL Platforms recently released a study indicating that YouTube is the #1 social network for influencing purchases. Last year, we started to make this connection much easier by making our YouTube videos shoppable, both your own branded videos as well as third-party videos. You know, we talked a little bit about machine learning and artificial intelligence. Martin did in the morning. One of the things that we're able to do more and more easily is actually understand the products that we're showcasing in the videos so that we can connect retailers selling those products to the consumers looking at them. With this format, French men's shoe brand Bexley doubled their revenue performance. But winning on mobile isn't just about offering someone useful content based on their intent. It's also about being there when your high-valued customer is looking for the products that you sell on Google. So we've doubled down on our efforts to help you engage your high-value customers. So everybody who knows about the broad word remarketing knows that today you can use various types of remarketing technology to reach your users who visited your site, browsed products, abandoned their basket, or made a recent purchase. You do this by adding a little bit of code to your page, and you slowly build up a list of users. That list of users can then help you identify and fine-tune the campaigns to those users. And you can do this today across search, YouTube, and display. But it still requires some heavy lifting, and you've got to wait there as those lists build up as the users take their time to make their actions. Well, today, I am incredibly excited to announce the global launch of Customer Match for Shopping. It's rolling out this summer, and what Customer Match for Google Shopping enables you to do is to provide us, very simply, with customer lists, email addresses of your customers so that we can target those users on Google Shopping across our properties. It makes it easy to enable you to highly tailor and tune your campaigns to new customers, to existing customers, loyal customers. I think you're getting the message. Using this feature, good friends of ours, the French designer Roland Moreau, targeted a sale preview to their customers across Google properties. And the critical thing that this technology enables you to do is to focus on those customers that matter. So they saw an 87% reduction in cost per action. Think about how extraordinary that is for a second. So that was mobile. Now let's take a pivot and let's look at local. Specifically, how we're connecting shoppers with the stores, with your physical stores, and the products in them right when they're ready to make a decision. So last year, and you've seen this, I think, on some of the stickers on the walls, local searches, or searches with local intent doubled. Right? These are searches with either terms like near me, nearby, postcode, or city-type searches. And folks like me who've been traveling for the last 3 weeks, these are the kinds of searches I'm doing day in and day out, many, many times a day. So this shows us that while 90% of commerce is still transacted in stores, the way we find and discover things around us has fundamentally changed forever. Our smartphones, in fact, they've become the front door to the brands and the businesses that we love. And retailers and brands that reach people with locally relevant messages, well, those are the ones that are winning. One of my favorite examples comes from my friends at the US retailer Target. So today, 98% of Target's retailers shop digitally, and 3/4 of them start from their mobile device. In fact, this whole term, mobile is the front door to our store, was coined by one of our friends at Target. This brand understands that there's no longer a dividing line between how its guests live and how they shop. So using Google Store visits, Target learned that 1 in 3 people who click on a mobile search ad head in store to shop. And as a result, Target accelerated the shift in marketing spend, obviously from offline to online media, to digital mobile media. Now, Martine shared with you earlier that mobile search drives 4 store visits for every conversion that it drives online. But the big question that we continue to get asked is, are these visits incremental? So we ran a randomized controlled study, again, we referenced it this morning, across 10 of our big box US retailers, including our friends at Target. And what we found was that on average, mobile search ads drove more incremental store visits than they drove online conversions. We're going to talk more about measurement, but more incremental store visits than online conversions. So these are store visits that would not have otherwise happened, proving this huge offline impact of mobile that many of us still are not accounting for. In addition, using our store visits data in AdWords, we saw that people searched on mobile inside department, home improvement, and electronic stores 30% more than in the previous year. And for most of the store types, we see that the bulk of these searches, you don't have to worry, the bulk of these searches are for brands and retailers related to that business. So it shows us how much people are consulting their phones on purchases they're about to make in store. You know, I do this all the time. I'm sure all of you do as well, especially if you're not in a familiar location, you're looking at brands or products that you don't understand. You look online to make sure that the purchase is going to be something that's worthwhile. So let's look a little bit more at what we've been building here to help you be useful to users looking for this local information. First, we've doubled down on innovations like local inventory ads, right? I'm sure you've heard of these. They help surface the inventory available in your store, and they're growing incredibly rapidly. In fact, user engagement for these formats has grown so rapidly that we've been able to show them 4 times more in the last year alone. Target, who we just talked about, they drove more than 1 million incremental store visits using location inventory or local inventory ads in just 1 week before Christmas last year. 1 million more visits in 1 week. Now, like me, especially if you have young kids, I'm sure you've been disappointed when you throw the kids in the back of the car, you drive all the way to the store to pick up that one thing you needed just to find out that it's out of stock. You know, given all of the technology, artificial intelligence in the world is going, we know that it doesn't have to be this way. So that's why last month we announced an experiment that makes your local inventory searchable within the local knowledge panel on Google.com. And as of this month, it has now rolled out globally. Think about it, right? Folks are already turning to Google to find store hours and directions. Let them search your inventory as well. We're also developing new techniques to let consumers know about all of the purchasing options that you offer, like click and collect, which is incredibly popular here in the UK, and I wish the US would get with it and do even more click and collect. It's a great service. So we just announced the beta of store pickup, right? You can see it behind me. It's a link on your local inventory ads that makes it clear to users that you offer click and collect. And when you click through to that link, it drives you right to the point of purchase so you can set that up. And you see the one behind me for Currys here shows reserve and collect. We recently ran a small pilot of this feature in the US, and one of our retailers there, Kohl's, saw a more than 40% increase in traffic to their sites with users trying to transact in this kind of way. Now let's pivot again, and let's look at what we've been building in Maps to help you be there and be useful as users explore the world. You know, today we have over 1 billion users on Maps. That's no surprise, but I think this stat is phenomenal. We drive 1.5 billion destination visits, physical destination visits from searches within Google Maps every month. From the beginning, the mission of Google Maps, of course, was to help people navigate and find places around them, really search the physical world. And if you think about this, for all of you, these are incredibly useful moments for all of you to be there for your consumers. Measurement. Measurement used to be a lot simpler. So I want to spend some time talking about this because I know this is something that's on everybody's mind. Before people carried, supercomputers around in their pockets, measurement was pretty simple, right? We had our maybe digital, we had our offline, our call center sales, and you could kind of just sum it up and say, okay, that is how I can think about my total sales, and I can attribute back very, very simply. But 5 years ago when I started talking about mobile, one of my favorite phrases, and it's still true today, is that's not the way the world still works. People weave a path through a myriad of different devices and experiences to complete a single transaction. So this has mucked up the whole world of measurement, and I blame Google as well, because when we started AdWords, we came out to the front and we said, hey, look, it's really easy. You can measure very, very simply. We can give you 100% accurate measurement. Unfortunately, too often, we're still desperately trying to operate under these same old paradigms. Whether it's due to technological limitations, which absolutely still exist, we are not there yet, or whether it's just due to the inertia within your organization or the way your organization is set up. Please understand that measurement doesn't have to be perfect. As I tell all of my retail friends, please don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good when it comes to this new measurement world. So in order to give you a little bit of an example of what I mean, I'm going to take you through a case study that we did with one of my favorite European retailers, Petit Bateau. In fact, my family just spent the last 5 days in Rome, and we spent quite a few euro at the lovely Petit Bateau store that we walked into there. So they're a 100-year-old apparel retailer, as I'm sure most of you know, and they knew, of course, that their customers were researching online before coming in the store. But they weren't sure exactly how much that was happening or how to really attribute this online activity with what was happening in stores and be, rest assured here that those store teams, they didn't really buy that this digital piece was driving an awful lot of the attribution. So ultimately, Petit Bateau wanted to measure the effect of digital, particularly mobile, on their in-store sales. So we worked with them, and they incorporated their store sales data into Google Analytics, and they made an incredible discovery. They learned that 44% of in-store buyers visited the Petit Bateau website before purchasing, before coming in, and that was within a 7-day window, so that's a fairly tight time window there. And consumers with the highest in-store basket value, well, they conducted up to 3 times more research online before completing those purchases. Taking the offline value into account, they learned that search was 6.4 times more valuable than they'd previously measured, 6.4 times. And obviously, they increased their investment with digital media as a result. They ensured that they were bidding more for mobile. They were bidding not only more for mobile, but they raised their bids for mobile above that of desktop by 20%. Now, that's the way to think about measurement. That's the way to be competitive and to be useful for your users on mobile. They also use this data to help the internal communication, right? To talk to their store teams, to help them understand digital's role in the consumer journey. So, I've just shared a little bit about what my team has been working on to help you be there and be useful on mobile, on local, some of our thoughts on measurement, and how we're starting to connect the online and the offline so that we can help you all with your investments in store. Now, you've probably heard a lot throughout the day about machine learning, about artificial intelligence, so just a few words on this as I know it was promised. At Google, so I've been there 12 years. We've been working with machine learning the entire time that I've been there. Machine learning in and itself is nothing brand new. It's logistic regressions. It's trying to predict the future based on a set of past events. But what our teams are working on with things like Google Brain and DeepMind is a new deep learning neural net technology that absolutely boggles my mind as a 41-year-old computer scientist who's been living in this tech world my entire life. The kinds of things that we're going to be able to do with the artificial intelligence technology that Google is building will be able to drive personalization down to an individual in such a way that you simply can't in these large-scale machine learning models. So we've talked a lot. Sundar announced the Google Assistant. We've talked a lot about how we're moving into a more assistive world. And the work that the teams like DeepMind are doing are critical to make these assistants useful, flexible, and personalized for all of our consumers. So my team is obviously deep at work at making Google Shopping a core part of the overall Google Assistant, but we're also deep at work with teams like DeepMind and Google Brain to bring artificial intelligence deep within the technology that we're providing to all of you to help you more easily connect with your consumers. So it's very, very early days, but I think you can see this vision starting to emerge. And the vision that we have is to offer assistance to people as they shop. We want to help you connect to them during the moments when they're looking for inspiration or researching, and during the moments when they're ready to buy with you, both online and in stores. So where are we then? Well, 5 years ago, I was just learning about mobile. And 5 years from now, I can guarantee you that probably nobody in this room has any idea where we're going. But regardless, we think that every retailer, from Tesco to Sofa.com to Happy Socks right here in Soho, should have the opportunity to be there and be useful for consumers in their crucial moments. Diversity is good for consumers, it's good for all of you, and frankly, it's good for Google as well. Some of you here come from retailers who go back 100 years or more. You get the theater of the store experience, the merchandising, the serendipity of finding that perfect item. Consumers will always want what you have to offer. The physical store is not going away. But Google's contribution is that we understand people's intent and context extraordinarily well. And ultimately, we see ourselves as a connector. So if we can work together, I think we'll be able to meet consumers' expectations in wonderful new ways. We can create an ecosystem where each of you thrives. And I'm looking forward to joining all of you on that remarkable journey. Thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it.